Hey everyone, it's Dominic from the Primetime Treasure eBay store and YouTube channel. Thanks so much for coming by to check out another video. I am feeling much better. The antibiotics have definitely kicked in. My energy level's higher. My voice is getting better. Not perfect, but it's getting there. Occasional cough might sneak through here and there, so apologize for that in advance if that happens. But thanks for coming back, and for so many of you for checking out that prior video, leaving your thoughts and comments on the psychology between the buyers and the sellers with regards to the double lowball situation. That was a very popular video. A lot of people watched it. I saw people like Tony Boss sharing it on social media. So thanks so much for that. If you're new to the channel, I should let you know by way of background that I do work full-time as a board certified neuropsychologist. So one of the things that I like to do for resellers as a reseller myself on the side is to try to give you some psychological insights on how to make sure you use that negotiation process to your advantage, that you don't fall into some of the psychological traps that buyers try to set for you, so that you can maximize your profit and continue to be successful as an online reseller. So I am going to have a discussion on another incident that occurred tonight that I think is a good example of something I've wanted to show you for a while, but just happened to happen again tonight. So I said, you know what, this is a perfect time to do this. So I'm going to talk about that in just a few moments. But before I do that, I want to go into a little follow-up on how I did on that auction, because it's actually related to what we're talking about in the theme of these videos on the psychology of the negotiation between the sellers and the buyers. So that has to do with the wrestling sign that I had. This is this vintage sign right here. Not that, we'll get to that in just a moment. But this is that wrestling sign. The one from 1989, the NWA wrestling sign with Ric Flair in it, Terry Funk, and a bunch of other famous wrestlers. This was a promotional sign from 1989, and it's the only one that I know of in existence. That's the key to this item being successful in an auction format. And if you remember, about an hour after I posted this, somebody asked me privately in a message if I would sell this to them for $100. And then about a few hours later, somebody asked me if I'd sell it to them for $250. Just end the auction and sell it to them. Now, why would someone make me such an offer? Well, and think that I would accept it. The reason is because the person is trying to play on doubts that I would be able to get more than what they're offering. Well, what will help you prevent those type of doubts? What helps you prevent those types of doubts are data. And if you remember back to the video that I did on this topic, that I showed you data that showed that these types of wrestling signs could sell for as high as $550. Now the $550 ones are for ones that are older than this sign, but I still knew that this sign was old enough and had enough classic wrestlers in it that it would sell for pretty high and should definitely go over that $250 mark. Now, if you also remember, this is an item that whatever it sells for is pure profit. So it's not like I'd be losing out at all if I sold it for $100 or if I sold it for $250, but I'm in business to maximize my profit. And so, I'm not that I'm not willing to give people deals in other situations. I make best offer deals all the time, but this is one that has to be in an auction format because there's no other one like it, and that gives you leverage. And that's a key point I want to make sure I get across to sellers, and because it has to do with the psychological mindset of negotiation. You really need to put yourself in this situation where you know you have the leverage. Now, sometimes you won't. Sometimes you'll have an item that maybe you bought in a big collection or something, has some damage to it, and you have to be willing to take a lower price on it. And in that situation, the buyer will have some leverage on you there because of condition issues. But if you're the one with the leverage, and you should aim to be the one with the leverage, with more leverage, then you should stick to that. So there's no reason for you to give up on an item such as this so early and just quickly give it away for $100 or $250, where you just wait 7 days and you get it $400 for it. That's a big difference depending on which price you want to compare it to 100 or to 250. So again, let that data kind of be your guide as to whether or not you would accept any kind of offer like that, kind of back channel. In most situations, those initial offers that come in are almost always going to be lower than what you would get if you just held out on it. So I just wanted to pass that along as a brief follow-up. For more details about this item, just go back to the video. I'll link to it down below in the description section, but it's one of the more recent ones that I did. But now let me go into what I want to talk to you about tonight, which is a totally different situation. So right here, what you see is one of many toys that I purchased as part of a large toy collection in the beginning of the year. I actually did a massive haul video on this. I'll never do one that long again, I promise. But I bought all these toys along with a bunch of comic books for a total of $120. It was really, really a great score. I've been focusing on other collections since then, but I've been starting to put up a few of these toys. So the goal on this one is, for the toy part of it, it's making money on volume. So again, I have like hundreds of these toys, and each one of them, my goal is to make about $10 profit on it once all the fees, including the shipping, is factored into it. So my price on it, as you see there, $15.99, includes free shipping. Now these are all going to go pretty much first class, so that means that for a 15-ounce toy, it's going to be about $4.66 to ship. So you have to factor that into your mind when you're doing any kind of negotiation with any buyer. As an example of kind of what these toys look like, this isn't the one that you see there, but here you go. Here's the back, here's the front. It's an average type of toy you'd see hanging on a peg in the toy store. By the way, if you are not someone who sells toys, don't worry about it. That's not the point of this video. It's, you can replace any item that you like to sell with the item that I'm showing here and just apply it to you. These toys are from the mid-1990s for the most part, so that's why they're not going to command crazy prices. But average sale price item should be somewhere between $15 and $20 per toy. That's with the free shipping. So as you can see here, someone offers me $8 on the toy. So by my definition, if you remember, that is something I'd consider a low ball. That's about 50% of where this item really should sell for based on my market research. Now, my market research ahead of time told me that this item has sold for as high as $19.99 with free shipping, sometimes $18.99, that sort of thing. So I know it should be around a $15 to $20 sale with the free shipping. I also know, by the way, keep this in mind with regards to leverage. Not only do I have that prior sales data behind me, but I also know, I'm going to get out of this tab for just a moment, that at the time that I have this listed, that the closest person to me who has the same item right here, and I'll just click on it so I can bring up a bigger view of it, is someone who's selling it for $12.99, so $13, plus $7.70 standard shipping. So the next closest competitor is someone who's selling it for $20, round off, and person does not have as much feedback as I do, and also has negative feedbacks, and I don't have any. So those are all things I factor in when someone's making me an offer and I know I have the lowest price on it. What I'm factoring in my head is, if you're not going to accept my price or close to it, which you can see here is $15.99, I'm already at the $15.99, right? Think about this. At $15.99, I'm already more than $4 lower than my next closest competitor. I have no shipping price factored into it, and I'm already lower than what prior sales data would indicate the item should sell for. Now, it's not the most popular item in the world. It's not like my wrestling sign. I gotta kind of have to wait for the right person who's either looking for this toy to complete a collection, or they happen to be a big X-Men fan, or they like this particular character and they want to get it. That's what I have to wait for to sell this item. It's been up for 30 days. I started the price at $19.99. At that time, that was also the lowest price. And I've lowered it by $1 per week. So now, at the last day, it's at $15.99. So there's a few hours left. Person offers me $8. You could see the buyer's name here. I normally don't include that. It is public information, but I normally don't include it. But I had to include it here, and you'll see why a little bit later. It's the only way I could prove to you that what happened actually happened. And the reason I want to point this out is that you are going to run into all sorts of myths about what you should do with regards to when someone sends you a lowball offer. Some people are going to tell you that you should always counter it, because if you don't, you're going to lose the opportunity to make a sale. That is not true. You'll see what I mean in just a moment. Some people will tell you that you don't want to get the buyer mad, because if you decline the offer, the buyer might get mad and then they might not want to come back and do any kind of deal with you. That is also not true in all instances. Of course, there could be an example where that happens, but the way I flip this whole thing around psychologically is, why do I need to worry about the buyer getting mad? Think about what I just said. I've got it at $4 lower than the next closest competitor. I'm offering free shipping, and it's lower than what it's sold for recently. So if anyone should be concerned about someone getting mad, it should be the buyer getting worried that they're lowballing me on the item. So this works both ways, everybody. Now, let's go into what happened. So I decline this, right? I say, nope, just decline it. I don't respond, don't say anything, just decline it. Which, as I've said before, conveys confidence in your item as a seller when you do that. Now, person comes back within about 30 minutes or so. I don't know exactly, but it was pretty close after that. Offers $12 on it. Now, that's closer, but it's not really where I want to be. And the reason why the person is putting these offers in at the last second, it had 3 watchers on it, is that the person is hoping that I am so concerned that this item might not sell today that I would have to, oh my goodness, relist it. Some buyers are going to think you are not going to want to do that for 2 possible reasons. One, they're going to think you're going to worry that you're going to have to wait a full 30 days again maybe to sell it, and you don't want to deal with that, and you just want to get rid of the inventory. 2, that you may have insertion fees. So maybe you have to pay 30 cents to insert the item or something along those lines if you don't have a store, or maybe you do have a store but you used all your promotional insertion fees. Those are generally, I'm going to advise you, if you have a good item based on market research like I've talked to you about, I would advise you to stick with it, as I'm going to show you in a moment. Now, I could have done a few things here, obviously. I could have sold it for the $12. I could make a meet in the middle offer, which I do on a lot of items, but keep in mind that when you're dealing with items that are $20 or less, or $10 or less, there's not as much wiggle room for negotiation. So you always have to keep that in mind. The other thing is that for $12, and I've got it there at $15.99, I also have to factor in that there could be some buyers out there, maybe even one of the watchers that I have, that they may get anxious or concerned that if they don't see me lower this pretty soon, that I may just decide not to sell it. I may not relist it again. Uh, or I may just sell it somewhere else. I may flip it locally somewhere. So there's the possibility that might happen. There's, like I said, there's 3 watchers on it. I was willing to take a chance on it, and so I just declined the offer. So what happened? Well, didn't sell. Okay, I had 98 views on it, so I know people are watching it. Got 3 watchers. What do? I relist it. I lower the price by $1. So now I'm at $14.99 for the item. And in my mind, the way I'm thinking of it is that now I'm in a completely different situation. By the way, I hit sell similar, not relist, because hit sell similar. That will give you a new item number. It will make your item look nice and fresh in the search rankings. So now someone's seeing my item this time around compared to the first time around where I had it at $19.99. Now it's going to be even that much more palatable for buyers and more desirable for them. So what happened? Well, sure enough, that same day, the person who was making those offers for $8 and $12 just came in and purchased it for $14.99. The same person. So that's why I tell you, this idea, this myth that you have to counter offer every offer, or that you're going to lose the buyer if you don't send them an offer, you're going to get them mad. That is not going to happen in all instances. In fact, many of my experiences are like this one right here. This has happened more often than not. And what, again, allows me to do this and have the confidence to do it is my market research on prior sales data. And also, when I show that confidence that I'm willing to stick close to my price, the buyer starts to wonder, why is he doing that? And the buyer likely figures out this. Well, he probably knows, or he or she probably knows, that this is my next option. So I'm either going to buy it for $14.99 or pretty close to it, or I'm going to have to spend $20 for my item. In other words, you as the seller have to be willing in your mind to basically communicate. You don't have to write this to the buyer necessarily, but basically communicating to them, where else are you going to go? Because I've already got the most reasonable price on the item. So I hope that this example encourages you to be confident with your items. It all does, though, require doing market research. So if you try to be confident and try to exert leverage in situations where no leverage should exist, or you think your price is the best when it's really not, you think it's a great price, but you haven't done market research to show that it's sold for that price, the whole thing I'm telling you is not going to work. So you have to have data to back it up. So I hope that that helps you. If it does, please make sure you drop your comments on it down below. Please make sure you share it with others who you think could help from these types of tips. If you like to see other tips along these lines, other these kind of psychological insight process videos, please let me know, because I really do read all of your comments. I respond to as many of them as I can. They give me inspiration to make certain videos, and so I love hearing from every one of you. Thanks so much. So if you like the video, make sure you hit the like button. Make sure you subscribe to the channel to get updates. Make sure you come to my Facebook group, the Facebook Reselling Resource Center. The link to that is down below in the description section, along with links to all sorts of supplies that I use to help me in my reselling business. If you purchase anything through those, they're Amazon affiliate links. It does help me out slightly with the channel in terms of a small little commission that I get through that, or any purchases you make through those links. Check me out on Instagram. I know I didn't do a YouTube video last night, but I did do a brief small little Instagram video, so check me out over there if you don't see a video here. Sometimes I'll do one there instead, just to give some exclusive content to the subscribers to my Instagram account. So with that being said, I'm going to wrap this video up and take care of some other things, and I'll see everyone back in the next one. Thanks everyone. Take care. Have a great day.